But before it looked like this, it looked like this. What's up everyone, back with a new video, this time on the installation of the black Grille inserts from justforjeeps.com. So this is going to be a pretty long video. I really wanted to show everyone what it would take to actually install a black Grille. I know most of us believe that the Grand Cherokee should just come with the black Grille, especially on the altitude trim levels. So if you're interested in seeing what it takes to actually make that happen and you want to install it yourself, this is what it will look like. Literally that right there. Realistically, you'll probably break a few things along the way, but everything's cheap to buy beforehand or add in afterwards. So the number one tools that you're going to need for sure are the clip removers. They're just plastic, cheap. I got mine from Harbor Freight. But it's pretty much essential with removing everything necessary to actually access the Grille. There's going to be a lot of times where you feel like you're going to break something, but just be careful, pull slow. It definitely will take time. So before I almost forgot, I wanted to unplug the power to the lights, and I gave it a pretty good attempt, but it's just really hard to reach at this point in time. So I had planned to undo the connection after I had got the bumper off. So now I just decided to move on to the other side. I got everything loosened up on that side. This part, just became a lot easier once you kind of understood how they moved and the time that it took to actually get them out without breaking them. So just remember to stay patient on this part. Or you can just, buy new ones and take them out really, really fast. So once you get to this part here, you're going to find 5 just 90-degree little rotating clips along the bottom of the bumper. At this point in time, I actually only thought that there were 3 in the center and then just outside of the center. But you'll see a little later on in the video, there's actually 5. So after you remove those 5, then I went ahead and went to the top. You have to lift the hood open, and then you get a little bit more usage of the much needed trim removers, if you want to call them that. The next thing, you're gonna kind of pull everything up a little bit. At this point in time, everything is essentially loose. Now it's just getting the bumper and all of the little clips pulled out from the body that are attached to the bumper. And with this part, this is definitely where having another hand would be useful. I didn't at the time, but I was really excited to get this black grill on, and I knew that it was possible to do it by myself. So this is kind of an example of what it would take to do that if you did want to do it by yourself. If you did have someone else, you would essentially have them on the other side, kind of pulling as well. There's, I believe, about 3 clips underneath each headlight. And as you kind of pull it out, you'll kind of feel them release. So now the bumper is fully loose. The only 2 things remaining are the fog lights, which I didn't want to unplug if I didn't actually have to. So as you can see here, there's a pretty good amount of access to reach the screws and everything to go ahead and start the removal process here. So I thought that I was going to do that, and oops, number 2. So at this point in time, definitely had to undo the connections to the fog lights. What happened was the bumper slipped off of essentially the brace in front that it was kind of resting on. And I thought that it was just loose, but it really wasn't until you just saw it fall. And then also now too, I realized that there were 2 more clips towards the outside underneath that needed to be unscrewed. So don't forget those when you're unscrewing the bottom parts in the front and the middle. So at this point in time, everything is a lot easier. All you have to do now is unscrew the 2 screws on each section. And there's a little tab at the bottom that you just push, and it literally falls out from the front. Here's a little comparison between what the silver chrome looking one looks like compared to the black grille. And now the final tricky part. So each piece has these 4 tabs, and you have to push them to release the actual grille portion of it from the outer ring. And you'll kind of experience this part being a little difficult, especially on the first pieces, but as you move on, it gets a little bit easier. You most likely will break a few pieces. I have to admit that I did break 2, I believe. But even if you broke all 4, it still would be completely okay, because those 2 screws that you originally take off, they hold everything into place. So as you get the black one in, you just snap it right in and replace the other one. It will feel a little resistant, but just push past that. Just make sure everything's lined up properly, because it can be like flipped upside down. then once you get the grill into the ring, then you're going to just simply clip it back into place. The top part will kind of set in first, and then the bottom part has the clip, which you just push in, and then get your 2 screws, and then you're good to repeat that same process all the way through for the remaining 6 sections. So after finishing inserting all of the black grill pieces, you then want to plug back in your fog lights. Don't forget that, because it's, like you've seen in the beginning, it's a little hard to access once the bumper is actually on. So once you've got those plugged in, you just want to kind of put the bumper back on and start pushing all the little clips back in. After you have the bumper into place with the clips that hold everything up underneath the headlights and whatnot, then you're going to take the 5 90-degree pieces that are lined along the bottom, screw those back in. Here are the casualties from this install. Not bad at all. Make sure you double check all of your clips and screws and bolts and whatnot. Make sure everything's back in, and then take a step back and enjoy the finished product. So this is the dirty version, and this is what it looks like clean. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe for more content. Follow Jeep Life 24 on Instagram. And you definitely want to be on the lookout for the next video. I install the Corsa Sport catback exhaust. It's made for the V8s, but it's going on a V6.